Good morning, first graders. Welcome to your second week of virtual learning. Today, before we start reading our book of the day, I wanted to show you my new classroom that I have at home. This is my workspace, a place where I like to do my work when I'm teaching you. You want to see it? So I'd like to sit at my kitchen table because I have a lot of space here, and I lay out all of my work on the table. Let me show you. So I've got my whiteboard, I've got markers and paper when I do drawings and math. I've got my homework packet with pencils, a bunch of books that I love to read, my moon calendar, and I use my computer for Class Dojo, so that's there a lot too. When you're done watching this video, will you send me a video of your workspace? I want to see, where have you chosen to do all of your reading and all of your homework? Is it a quiet spot? Is it a place that's organized and has space for all of your materials? Send me a video later, all right? Well, are you ready for your story of the day? Today, we're going to read a book from our classroom library. It's the Berenstain Bears book called On the Moon, because we've been observing the moon. And have you been noticing something interesting happening with the moon? We'll talk about it after. On the Moon was written by Stan and Jan Berenstain. They wrote all the books about these funny characters. Are you ready? The Berenstain Bears on the Moon by Stan and Jan Berenstain. On the night before the bears' big day, they look at the moon far, far away. So here you see our main characters. I noticed that I see a full circle in the sky. It's very bright. That's called the full moon. Do you remember when we saw the full moon? We saw it on March 9th. Remember, Allison said, "The full moon's coming, I know, because every day I can see more and more of the moon shining." Then the morning comes. Today is the day. The Berenstain Bears, they will go to the moon, far, far away. So some of you have asked, how do you get up to space? You see that? It's a rocket ship. Some people can call them space shuttles too. They take you up to space. And look at, they're filling it up with rocket fuel, gasoline. They climb up the stairs to the top of the tree so they can climb into the rocket ship. The crowd counts down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The rockets blast. Everybody waves goodbye. They are off at last. There it goes, shooting off into space. And look, you can still see the moon, and it's daytime. Remember, the more of the moon we can see in the daytime, the better. Sometimes we can't see it at all in the daytime though, right? We saw that before. We've seen that. 2 little bears and 1 little pup. They are off to the moon, going up, up, up. They look back down at Earth, but they can't find their treehouse home. They have left it far behind. Where is their town? It's hard to say. Their town is now on Earth, far, far away. So here you can see them looking out the window of their rocket ship. They can see the planet Earth now, which means they're up in space. And there they are. If you notice, they have special uniforms they have to wear and equipment. Oh no! All of a sudden, their feet no longer touch the ground. Why are they not able to stand on the ground? Do you remember what we learned? When you're up in space, you can't stand on the ground because there's no gravity. They're out in space. They float around. 2 floating bears and their floating hound. Hound is another word for a dog. Look at that. That looks like fun, huh? You'd have to hold on tight if you wanted to touch the ground. Up ahead, it's a shower. Not a shower you take a bath in. It's a meteor shower. They will have to go through it. Turn on more power. We gotta get through this. Will they get to the moon? They will, they must. Their slogan is, to the moon or bust. There's the meteor shower. They're gonna get to the moon. They can totally do this. Behind them, the earth looks so small now. It's nothing more than a little blue ball. The pup begins to wonder when his paws will touch the earth again. Will we ever get to go back to earth? They also look worried. I notice these transparent globes here. Do you know what those are for? Let's see if we can find out on the next page. Then up ahead, there it is. They can see it, the moon. Buckle up tight. We're about to land soon. Oh, look it. They just put them on. Those help them to breathe. Those packs on their backs allow them to transport oxygen in here to help them to breathe. Because when you go out in space, you can't breathe out there. There's no oxygen. So you have to bring oxygen in a tank with you. There's the moon. Remember we said it kind of looks like cheese? Those are the craters. Those holes. Landing. They are landing in a cloud of dust. They said they would, and they said they must. And they made it to the moon, and they didn't bust. Look at all that moon dust. Oh, look at those craters. They look like little mini volcanoes. Down onto the old moon they step with pride. 2 bears and a pup along for the ride. All right, there they go. Gonna walk on the moon. Now the bears have many things to do while they're on the moon, but first they look around and they enjoy the view. Then they fly their flag, the Berenstain flag that they put on the moon. They take moon notes and measurements. They collect moon rocks in their moon rock totes. A tote is a bag. So if you've seen in lots of pictures we've looked at of space and when astronauts have visited the moon, they always bring a flag of where they come from to remind people that they visited the moon. And there they are, being astronomers taking notes, collecting moon rocks to take back to Earth to study and observe more. They even try some jumps high in the sky, moon jumps. They almost make you fly. Look at all the jumping they're doing. That reminds me of all the jumping we do on number lines in math. You can jump really high up in space because there's no gravity to bring you back down. Now it's time to get behind the wheel and explore the moon in their moon mobile. Oh, look at that. They brought a vehicle with them. They're zooming around on the moon. Would you like to do that? I know I would. 2 bears on the moon. They are all packed up, ready to go home now. So is their pup. Will their ship lift off? Will the rockets burn? Will the 2 little bears and their pup return? If the 2 little bears use all their skill, they will return. They will, they will. If you look closely here, what's that? It's Earth. Remember that the moon orbits or travels around the Earth. The moon that we see each night is our moon, the Earth's moon. But there's lots of moons up in space. 2 bears and their pup in their rocket ship on their way back home, on their back to Earth trip. And before on their rocket ship, I'll turn it upside down. It used to say to the moon or bust, and now it says to the Earth or bust. They gotta get back home. I hope they make it. Bye, moon. From up in space, you can see the whole entire moon, the whole sphere or ball. But from Earth, you can only see parts of it. Even if you can't see the moon tonight, it's still there. To their friends on the ground, to their house, safe and sound. They made it. Everyone's so excited. Safe back on the earth, they step out of their ship. Wow, say the bears, that was quite a trip. And look at their parents are there. Everybody's saying, welcome home. Now they look up at the stars at night, very, very far away. Will they go up to a star? Well, they may, someday. Do you remember which is the star, the biggest star up in space? The star that we see, the star that helps us to see outside and brightens our earth and warms up our earth? The sun. The sun is the largest star in the sky. These are all of its other stars. All right. So now that we've listened to the book, we've talked about the moon. I want to see how you're doing with your moon calendars. So since March 2nd, the beginning of the month, every day we've been trying to get outside to look at the moon. It's okay if you haven't had a chance to go out. I'll show you what I've been doing. So here's my moon calendar. And if you see, we started on March 2nd. Okay? We had about half of the moon showing in the sky. That darkness here represents what I cannot see of the moon. And the white part here is what I could see. And then we kept tracking, and I noticed I could see more and more and more of the moon each night. On March 9th, Allison told us, tonight's going to be a full moon. I know it because every night I've been able to see more of the moon. And she was right. On March 9th, we had a full moon. And if you remember, we called that a super moon because we were very close in our position of the earth, close to the moon. And we could see it really big and really bright. But then after the full moon, we could see the whole thing. All of a sudden, it looked like that ball in the sky was getting smaller. It wasn't really getting smaller. We just couldn't see as much from our position on Earth. On March 13th, we could see 79.3% of the moon. But just a few days ago, we could see the whole entire thing, 100%. So we started noticing a pattern. A lot of the moon showing. Full moon. Less of the moon showing. And this past last week, I noticed that on March 16th, last Monday, we could see only 47.9% of the moon. That means in a whole week that went by, we went from being able to see the whole thing to only half. And every day it's been less and less that I can see of the moon. On March 19th, I could only see 19.7% of the moon. Every night I'm able to see less and less. Emily Calderon wrote me the other day and said, Miss Nunez, what does it mean when you can't see the moon in the sky? Well, there's two reasons. One could mean that it's a cloudy night and the clouds are covering the moon. That can happen, especially when it's just a tiny little sliver, a little crescent or banana in the sky shining. But it can also mean that a new moon is starting. A new moon is when you can't see the moon in the sky at all. Not because it disappeared, but because of the way the light from the sun is shining on it and where the moon is traveling around the earth. Do you think we're going to get a new moon coming up soon? Look at this. Every night, less and less. Look at this. On the 21st, only 6.9% of the moon was actually showing on Earth. Look at that tiny piece. And even less last night. What do you think is going to happen tonight? Do you think we'll see the full moon again? Or will we see the new moon? Nothing in the sky, but it's still there. Well, guess what? It's going to be a new moon. That means it's the start of a new cycle. And I wanted to show you one more thing before I let you go. Tonight is actually a special time, okay? So if you remember, this is our sun, and our sun is shining on our earth, and our earth is orbiting around the sun and rotating, spinning at the same time. And this is our moon, and our moon is orbiting around the Earth. And if you remember on March 9th, we had a supermoon. That means we could see the whole entire moon because of where our moon was in relation to the Earth and the sun. And all that light was shining on it, so we could see the whole thing. And because we were so close to the sun, we called this a supermoon. We were able to see 30%, the moon looked 30% brighter and 14% bigger. But now, tonight and tomorrow, this is the opposite. Our moon has traveled around the Earth and is on the opposite side. We are really far away from the sun, huh? If we're really far away from the sun, do you think it's going to look bigger from Earth? Or smaller, darker, or brighter? It's actually tonight and tomorrow going to look 30% darker and 14% smaller up in the sky. Because we are having a new moon, that means you can't see anything in the sky. It won't look any different to you from Earth. But remember, tonight we're going to have it. It's going to look 30% darker and 14% smaller. And we call this the micromoon. It's the opposite of a supermoon. Some people are very excited to see the micromoon tonight. But it's a new moon. They won't see very much in the sky. All right, my friends. These are two of the jobs I want you to do today. Number one is fill in your moon calendar. I'll send you a website or an app that your parents can download to help you keep track of the moon if you haven't had a chance to so far. And second, send me a video of your workspace. What does your special workspace look like at home? What materials do you have out? Where is this location? Is it in a quiet space, away from distractions? Do you have your books there, papers there, homework there? Show me in a video, all right? Tomorrow, be ready. I am going to be preparing a math lesson today and sending it to you tomorrow, all right? So tomorrow we'll do some math and hopefully some phonics and writing. Every day I'm trying something new because this is a big change for all of us. So don't worry. Keep working hard at home. Work on your homework packet. Do your 20 minutes of reading at nighttime and a lot more during the day as well. And don't worry. Just enjoy your family time, all right? I miss you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.